When I woke up, John was hovering over my bed, and he had said, we should start a GoFundMe for you. And I said, okay, whatever. I was full of Percocets, which sounds like a plan to me. So took a picture of me with this weird hat on and posted it. And within 4 days, he had $1,500 raised for me. And he became my best advocate, and pretty much was my chauffeur and best friend for the time period. So when this all went down, I was like, oh shit. Well, best I can do is reciprocate for him, and I started a GoFundMe for him. At this point right now, there's $1,450 in the GoFundMe. I'm going to cease that at this point right now. All the monies that have been raised are going to his mother. And she asked that any and all monies from here on out that raised go to the Lyme disease. I posted that on the Facebook page, so if there's any questions, you should go to those people, and basically that was his pet project. I got to know John at the first Kaboom show, started by Laura Steepleton, and I got there about 12 or 15 minutes earlier than he did, and then he walked up with Jake Allen, and they basically thought that I was in charge, I don't know why, and said, what do we do? And I said, I don't know, just pick up a rake and start raking. So he did, and Kaboom went off really, really well. During that one time period, he was watching the guy with the lights and said, I really think this is cool. So by that next year, he was actually doing the lights for Kaboom, and from then on out, he became the light guy. During that time period, we played some music stuff together, and while I was going to one of the practices, my car broke down, and he came and saved me. So about 3 weeks later, his truck broke down, and I went and saved him. And over the course of the last 4.5 years, we pretty much switched off saving each other with vehicles. We were pretty much each other's ride. With that in mind, he basically took me around that Monday before. He had been pretty much, my best advocate, like I said, so he was pretty much keeping tab on me and checking up on me and making me feel real, which is one of the things that he did, is made people feel real. And everybody individually. It was not like he had anyone that he trusted or dealt with any different than anybody else. He pretty much dealt with everybody the same way. I'm pretty much a hermit, and he had his festival side, which most of you all kind of know. So I'm not a festival guy, so he pretty much came over to my house and we just kind of did our own thing together. So I got to know him in a much more singular type of person. The day that he came and picked me up, he had taken me to get some money and pay some bills. And it had been 10 days since my open heart surgery and hospital food, so I was really looking forward to some good bad food. So we stopped by Chili's, and I had a cheeseburger, actually a double cheeseburger. And one thing about John that was great is he wasn't, one to sit there and lecture you about stuff. He just laughed and smiled about it. I gave him all my French fries, and really enjoyed the salad. He had a chicken fajita, which ended up being his last meal, as it were. We talked about Brett Kushner's The Machine video, which is a hilarious video about a guy in Russia that gets caught up in the mafia. It's just hilarious. And then he waxed poetic about Russian mafia for a while. And then after that, we got up and he took me to Walmart. He was going to sit there and wait for me, and I told him that wasn't a good idea, so he immediately parked in a handicap spot, which was illegal. And I said, John, what are you doing? He says, kind of that smile. It's like, okay, John. He laughed about it. And he took me home. Now, one of the things I would like to tell you is eventful evening we had about a year and a half ago where we went out to see the Mummies. Here come the Mummies at Annapolis at Ram's Head. It was a particularly eventful night. He actually wrote about it in one of his things about getting pulled over in Frederick. But on that night I drove, we stopped by his mom's house, so I got a chance to meet his mom. And I've been in touch with her ever since. Had a really great show, but on the way home, we got on 70 and we got behind some idiot road rage guy, and he chased us and hassled us for about 8 miles. And then I was in the left lane, and there was this deer stuck out in the middle of the thing, and I ran over a deer on the way home. And then the bizarre thing happened. If you know Frederick, you know that interchange where if you're in the right lane, it goes to Washington, and the second lane, it goes around to 340. Well, I was in the wrong lane, so I did a real quick change, and I'm sure that's where they picked me up. Halfway around the thing, John threw a cigarette butt out the window. He got pulled over 3 seconds later. You know, and him and his tie-dye and throwing out the cigarette. And we were sure it was like, oh shit. And there were 3 cop cars behind us, one of them in full regalia. They pulled John out, and you know how they do, they separated us. And I'm going, oh man, I was pissed. It's like $500 ticket. John, what the heck? So John was sitting over there talking to the dude, and we walked around behind the car, the cop and I right in the window slot, the cigarette butt had landed. So it had never actually hit the ground. So we were really never technically littering. So otherwise they would have given us a ticket. So anyway, I picked the thing up and I looked at the cop looked at me. I said, no. So I put it in my pocket. I still had that cigarette butt. But it got to be a little issue with me and John about this cigarette stuff, because he smoked like a smokestack. So I caught him throwing a cigarette up one other time. I said, John, you can't do this. So I took an ashtray and I wrote in gold letters, Suntiger. Because that's our nickname for him. We called him John Suntiger. You know, and every time he'd get in the car, I would hand him this ashtray. And it got to a point where I still have that ashtray, and I still call it a Suntiger. So if anybody ever rides with me and asks to smoke a cigarette, I'll say, sure, here, but you got to use a Suntiger. So that was one of the things that he appreciated to this day, that he actually has something named after him. But on that same fateful trip, we were driving to see the Mummies, and while we were on our way, we were talking about memorials and how everybody gets so, you know, clammed up about death and all this kind of stuff. And I was playing a song by Oingo Boingo that I thought was extremely inappropriately appropriate. And he agreed it's one of his favorite songs. And so with that in mind, we're going to play a song here for you that's the most appropriately inappropriate song we could come up with. And this is in honor of John. So thank you.